The Karen Reed Case, Part 1, A Winter Night That Changed Everything. Picture this. It's January 29, 2022. A historic blizzard is pummeling Massachusetts, with winds over 80 miles per hour. Snow is falling so hard that visibility drops to near zero. Most people are huddled safely in their homes, waiting for the storm to pass. But at 6 a.m., in the upscale town of Canton, a horrifying discovery is about to be made. In the front yard of 34 Fairview Road, partially buried in the snow, lies the deceased body of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. His eyes are swollen shut. Blood stains the pristine white snow around him, and standing over his lifeless form, screaming and attempting CPR, is his girlfriend of 2 years, Karen Reed. What happened in those crucial hours between midnight and dawn? Was this a tragic accident, or something far more sinister? This is the story of a case that would divide a community, expose alleged police corruption, and raise questions about justice that continue to echo today. A case where the line between victim and perpetrator becomes dangerously blurred, and where the truth depends entirely on who you ask. Welcome to Part 1 of our deep dive into the Karen Reed case, a story of love, betrayal, and a winter night that changed everything. Chapter 1: The Man Behind the Badge. Before we dive into that fateful night, we need to understand who John O'Keefe really was. John O'Keefe was 46 years old, a 16-year veteran of the Boston Police Department. But more than his badge, John was a man who stepped up when life demanded it most. When tragedy struck his own family, his sister passed away, followed shortly by her husband. John didn't hesitate. He welcomed his niece and nephew into his home. He became not just their uncle, but their guardian and father figure. His family later described him as selfless. People talk about someone who would give you the shirt off their back, but that was truly who John was. And for the past 2 years, John had been building a relationship with Karen Reed, a 41-year-old equity analyst. They seemed happy together, planning a future. But on January 28, 2022, that future was about to end. Chapter 2: A Night Out Turns Deadly. The evening of January 28th started like many others. John and Karen went to C.F. McCarthy's in Canton. Witnesses said they seemed happy. John had beers, Karen had vodka sodas. Later, they moved across the street to Waterfall Bar and Grill around 11 p.m. Around midnight, they were invited to 34 Fairview Road, a private residence tied to people John knew. Karen, feeling sick, decided not to go inside. She said she dropped John off, turned around in the driveway, and left. She assumed John was safe, but he would never make it through that front door. Chapter 3: The Discovery. The blizzard was historic. At 5 a.m., Karen noticed John hadn't come home. Her calls went to voicemail. She also saw her SUV's taillight was broken. In a frantic call, she asked, "Could I have hit him?" Karen and 2 women from John's friends returned to Fairview Road. At 6 a.m., they found John O'Keefe's body in the yard, partially covered by snow. He was face up, bleeding, unresponsive. Karen screamed, threw herself on him, and tried CPR, but it was too late. Prosecutors later said she repeated, "I hit him, I hit him," words that would define the case. Chapter 4: The Investigation Begins. The Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County DA took over. According to their alleged investigation, John's injuries were severe: skull fractures, swollen eyes, cuts, a head gash. His pancreas showed hypothermia signs, meaning he'd been exposed for hours. Karen's Lexus SUV had a shattered taillight and bumper scratches. The investigators and local law enforcement claimed it matched striking someone. The timeline looked grim. Karen dropped John off after midnight. Hours later, he was dead in the yard with injuries, alleged to be consistent with a vehicle strike. Chapter 5: The Arrest. On February 1, 2022, 3 days after John's funeral, police arrested Karen Reed. She faced manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene. At arraignment, Prosecutor Adam Lally argued Karen struck John while leaving, then left him in the snow. The alleged evidence: her damaged SUV, her morning call asking if she hit him, and her alleged confession at the scene. Her attorney, David Yannetti, countered, if she meant harm, why return? Why try CPR? He painted her as a professional with no criminal record, facing serious health issues. Bail was set at $50,000. Karen posted it the same day. But this was only the beginning. Chapter 6: A Family's Grief. The O'Keefe family's statement called John not only a police officer, but a guardian and friend. They spoke of how he raised his niece and nephew after their parents died. People talk about someone who would give you the shirt off their back, but that was truly who John was. Hundreds attended his wake. Boston's mayor joined officers in mourning. The family's loss became a public symbol of John's service. Chapter 7: The Case Intensifies. Investigators pressed forward. On June 9, 2022, a grand jury upgraded charges to second-degree murder. Karen was arrested again. Prosecutors claimed she intentionally struck John with her SUV. The Boston police released a statement calling her responsible for John's death, but doubts began to grow. Some questioned whether the focus on Karen prevented looking at other explanations. Critics asked if all evidence was properly considered. Chapter 8: Unanswered Questions. Why was John found in the yard, not near the driveway? Were all his injuries consistent with a car strike? Why didn't he enter the house of people he knew? These questions fueled skepticism. Some wondered if John's death involved more than the official theory. Closing of Part 1 / and transition to Part 2. By summer 2022, Karen was out on bail but facing life in prison. The justice system her boyfriend served now accused her of murder. Her words, "I hit him," loomed large. But Karen Reed decided to fight back. She claimed she was framed, and that the real killers were among those investigating. In Part 2, we'll explore allegations of a police cover-up, a grassroots movement in her defense, and a trial that ended in a shocking hung jury. This is just the beginning of a story that will test everything we believe about truth, justice, and loyalty.